So one of the goals of myoskeletal alignment techniques is to normalize curve in the spine. Why do we have curve in the spine? To absorb shock. Anti-gravity spring system. So we want to make sure that when we have our client prone that we're looking and see how much curve they have in there. We want to make sure there's a little bit of lumbar lordosis there, and we want to make sure there's a little bit of kyphosis here. So we are going to start in the lumbar spine and showing you how to make sure that we don't have too much excessive lumbar lordosis. We're going to move this tissue medial to lateral, as Rolf used to say, dig a hole to allow the spine a place to come back to. Dig a hole to allow the spine a place to come back to. So you move all the tissue away so it has a place to come back to. Here's how I like to set it up. Turn around on my back. Got the hip here to brace it, right? Then I come in, make sure I'm not on the spinous processes on this side. I'm right on the opposite side of the spinous processes. And I'm just going to start moving laterally. Aaron, you want to start pelvic tilting a little bit? That puts an activating force through there, and I can feel what's tight, what's not moving. Now I'm getting over to an area that I really like to focus on. It's where the cluneal nerve has to come off the lumbar spine and go on top of the crest. And it's got little tunnels there, and right now we're going to try to just sweep by that and kind of open those tunnels up while we're still thinking, restoring lumbar curve. Notice how slowly I'm just letting his movement guide me medial to lateral. Now if they're flat backed, you do just the opposite. 3 times typically. I'll go 3 times. Work at your own pace. Right there where the cluneal nerves are. Superior cluneal nerves. Okay, now we got to do this side. One of the best ways to do it, and one of the best ways to use our elbow that we do not use typically is dragging with the elbow. So here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to kind of lean on him for a second here so that I'm specific. Got my thumb on the spinous process, and I'm going to come on this side of the erectors. Get my body weight down low. Now go ahead with the pelvic tilting, and I'm just dragging the tissue medial to lateral. When he comes into that anterior pelvic tilts, when I really move it laterally. So this is a really good way to use your elbow by dragging it, pulling the tissue rather than pushing it all the time. Okay, do that about 3 times. Typically after I do something like that, I'm going to warm it up a little bit. Just go in and just warm it up because I put some strain in there, moving those tissues. So I just want to come in and just let my body weight get in a lunge stance and just kind of warm this whole thing up. Next, we're going to move on up to the thoracic spine and check it out. If they have a little bit of excessive thoracic kyphosis, we're going to want to move the tissue which direction? Lateral to medial. We're going to want to move that tissue up on top of the spine to kind of flatten that stuff from sitting at the computer. You know, that's what we're doing. Trying to take some of that out. So I'm going to go on an oblique angle, and I'm going to start with my extended fingers. Oblique angle means 45 degrees approximately, not like this. Body weight low, fingers extended, and just go ahead and pelvic tilt. And watch me hook the erectors. And I'm moving them toward the midline. Notice how my extended fingers are not flat like that. Don't put your fingers on them like that. Don't do extended finger work like that. Tears up your fingers, doesn't really get a good hook. You want to hook them. I call it the fingernail hook. You get in like you're going to hook them with the fingernails, and then you straighten your fingers out And now you got a good fascial hook. Okay, moving it lateral to medial. See, I don't have to work hard at all. Now I just hang out here while he does all the work. Okay, so you got the idea. We come on up, obviously, all the way up. Keep working it lateral to medial, but you got the idea. Okay, so let's do fists. Come in with fist. I like to come in with my fist and spread like this at the same time. So I'm going to get my body weight so I'm comfortable, and then go ahead with the pelvic tilts. And just move it lateral to medial. Twist it a little bit too. Twist that tissue. Anytime you can hook the fascia like this, just hook it. You get a good hook, you know. That really helps. Look at that. Look how firm that is now. If I were like this, I'm sliding, right? You get in there and hook it. Okay. Forearm. This is the windshield, a version of the windshield wiper that we do a lot. Notice how my forearm's lying on his back here. I'm going to be moving it like this. Still working in an oblique angle, right? This hand's going to come back here and brace. It doesn't have to. It can brace here if you want to. Whatever's most comfortable for your body size. Start with the pelvic tilts, please. Okay, so here we go. Now watch me start to windshield wiper up. This is really powerful. This is when you got the big athletes on the table and you don't want to ruin your fingers or your fist. You use this tool. Tool specific. You've got to use whatever tool works best for your body and the person you're working on. Notice this motion here. Look how my wrist is flicking out like that because I'm going into external rotation here. I'm doing that. That hooks the fascia and the musculofascia, really. I'm working on the erectors more than anything, particularly longissimus and iliocostalis. Okay, the last one of these we're going to do is called the Texas Twister. At least my name for it is the Texas Twister. And it's a good way to take out some of the excessive bowing from that computer work that a lot of us do. I'm going to get my knee up here on the table because I want to get us kind of on top of my subject. One hand is going this direction, the other hand's going this direction. So the little finger's going down, the thumb's coming up. Get my body weight where I want it, get up here, put a twist in. Now, pelvic tilt, and when he goes down the pelvic tilt, I'm going to spring. Just go down and stay right there. Come up, go down. Come up, go down. Now stop. Now I'm just going to twist. Now I'm going to twist and turn the tissue. This feels good. It really helps with breathing because you're mobilizing the ribs, right? Okay, add those techniques to the ones you already do.